Have you ever opened an ancient text, something written thousands of years ago, and just felt a total disconnect? The words are on the page, but they feel like they're from another planet. It's a really common feeling. So today, we're going to build a practical guide for making those ancient words come alive with meaning for your life, right here, right now.
I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? How can stories about shepherds and kings and Roman emperors have anything to say to someone like you or me, dealing with emails, traffic jams, and endless social media feeds? There's this huge gap in time and culture, so how on earth do we cross it?
Well, that's the key idea for our whole explainer today. We're going to build a bridge. We're not pretending their world is the same as ours. It's not. Instead, we're going to construct a clear, sturdy connection that allows timeless wisdom to travel from their world directly into ours. And the best part? We've got a blueprint for this bridge. It's a really simple 4-step framework. You can think of it like a toolkit that helps us hear what the text is actually saying, on its own terms, instead of just what we want to hear. Okay, let's walk through these 4 steps. It all starts with step 1. You got to understand the original situation. What was life really like for the people who first heard these words? Then, step 2, we grasp the teaching for them, in their context. Only after we've done that can we move on to step 3, finding a parallel situation in our world today. And finally, and this is the most important part, step 4, applying that timeless teaching to our lives. Let's make this real with a quick example. Take this story from the book of John. The original situation? You have these religious leaders who are really harshly condemning a woman. The teaching for them was that Jesus offered forgiveness and a chance to change. So what's the equivalent today? Well, people are still incredibly quick to judge and condemn others, right? Especially online. So the application for us is to do what Jesus did, extend forgiveness, and encourage positive change instead of just piling on. See how that bridge works? Now, this framework is great, but what happens when the original situation seems completely alien to us? Like, what about a command not to worship the Roman emperor? I mean, most of us aren't facing that specific demand on our way to work. This is where we need to dig a little deeper to find the universal truth. And to do that, we need to get our heads around 2 key ideas. First, there's a particular truth. That's an instruction for a specific group at a specific time, like don't worship the emperor. But hiding underneath that is a universal truth, a timeless principle that applies to everyone, everywhere. Our goal is to find that universal gold inside the particular rock. So let's look at this in practice. Take that particular command. First-century Christians should not worship the Roman emperor. What's the universal truth there? It's about giving your ultimate allegiance to God before anything or anyone else. Or how about the warning, do not make money your master? The universal truth is the same. Don't let anything take the place of God in your life. The specific issues change, but that core truth, it's timeless. And that's how we find relevant. Okay, so far, we have built a fantastic intellectual bridge. We know how to understand the text. But, and this is a big but, if we stop there, we've missed the entire point. The goal isn't just to know something, it's to experience it. We're about to make a really crucial pivot now, from just understanding to actually responding. The source material uses this incredible analogy. It says that engaging with these texts only on an intellectual level, well, it's like standing around a delicious meal. You can analyze the ingredients, you can discuss its history, you can even argue about the recipe, but you never actually take a bite. All that knowledge is useless because it doesn't satisfy your hunger. So what does discussing the meal look like in real life? Well, it might be memorizing facts just to pass a test, or getting into heated arguments over minor historical details. Maybe it's just learning this stuff to get a diploma, or telling yourself you're going to do something about it someday. All of these fall short because they're just talking about the meal, not eating it. They don't change you. So, how do we finally eat the meal? How do we move from knowing to doing? Well, our source lays out 3 powerful, active ways to respond that turn all this understanding into a living, breathing experience. These 3 responses are prayer, fellowship, and action. These are the practical steps that take meaning off the page and plant it firmly in our lives. This isn't just about thinking anymore. It's about engaging our whole selves. Let's break each one down. First up, prayer. This is where reading stops being a one-way street. Instead of just taking in information, you use what you've just read as a springboard for a real conversation. You might thank God for something you read, or say you're sorry for a failure the text pointed out, or ask for the strength to actually live out a command. The reading fuels the conversation. Next up, fellowship.
Now, think of this as moving from conversation to an actual relationship. It's about responding to what the text reveals about God's character with trust. So when you read a promise, you choose to trust it. When you read about his love, you respond by resting in it. It's the difference between studying a biography of a person and actually becoming their friend.
Our source gives this amazing personal example. The author was dealing with a serious leg injury and was really worried about it. Then this verse from Hebrews just seemed to leap off the page, speaking right to his situation. He made a choice to respond in fellowship, not just reading the words, but actually trusting them as a personal promise. And years later, he was completely healed. That is fellowship in action. It's trusting what's on the page.
And that leads us perfectly to the third response, action. This is where our trust and our conversation with God become visible to the outside world. It's the natural result of the first two. I mean, if you truly trust a promise, you're going to act on it, right? Action is where head knowledge becomes life knowledge. It's taking everything we've learned and actually putting it into practice.
So, at the end of the day, all of this is about moving from knowledge to action. We're aiming for what the source calls an adequate response, one that doesn't just stay rattling around in our heads, but one that actually changes how we live our lives. And this final comparison just sums it all up perfectly. An inadequate response, it just adds to your knowledge, but it doesn't change you. It stays in your head. But an adequate response, that involves you. It involves you in prayer, in fellowship, and in action. It's the difference between being a spectator and actually getting in the game. And so we end here. After building this bridge from their world to ours, after seeing how to respond with our whole lives, not just our minds, the only question that really matters is the one right there. Don't just let this be more information you've collected. What is one small, tangible action that this whole process inspires you to take today?